This one probably ties into how I opened with what brought me to the sport, what made me love the sport and stick around. And so um, this will take a little preamble itself, but coming into the sport, my dad didn't have a favorite team necessarily, so there wasn't a team for me to inherit. And I guess because he moved around when he was younger, his father being in the military, there wasn't as much of this, hey, no matter who the home team is, that's who you're rooting for. Granted, he did at the time support the Rockets and still does. Rockets are my team now. But at the time, I'm kind of trying to find, okay, who do I root for? Who's relevant? I don't want to just jump on some, the Hornets, for example. Those are my favorite uniforms, probably, of all time. Those 90 Hornets uniforms. But that's not going to be a team that I root for. And so when I was really young, my parents divorced. And so when you talk about the memories with my dad, it kind of brings that out too because it was most time on the weekends when I would see him. So we're cramming all these good times into a weekend and playing sports and watching sports. And so a lot of time when I was younger, I'd watch whatever on, well, not whatever. I don't want to make it seem like my parents didn't care, but I kind of had, they knew I was good, stayed in school, stayed good in school, got good grades, had a pretty good understanding of the world, even though I was young, a little bit old for my age. And so I stumbled upon different shows. And when I was young, I watched the show In Living Color. I don't know if you remember that show, but Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, Damon Wayans, the Wayans brothers, a lot of them came from that show. And my favorite skit was Homie the Clown. I just thought it was hilarious, right? Homie don't play that. And it just made me, no matter what Damon Wayans did on the show, he's my favorite cast member. So all his skits were my favorite ones, right? The hated it, like that whole thing. Everything he did was hysterical to me. So he was my favorite actor, favorite person in Hollywood at the time. So when I'm trying to find a team, I'm like, hey, what is this random obscure movie, Celtic Pride? Okay. So I don't know if you're familiar with the movie, but basically the Celtics play the Jazz in the finals. The Jazz star player is Damon Wayans. Looks like they're going to be the favorite, win the finals. So, these diehard Celtics fans kidnap him basically to try to force the Celtics towards a title. And so I'm like, hey, Damon Wayans is my guy. He's playing for the Jazz. The Jazz is my favorite team. So that's my very random way of picking a team. Was my favorite actor is a fictitious player for a real team. Therefore, that is my favorite team. Oh, they happen to be in the playoffs. Cool. They're relevant at least, right? Little did I realize or recognize at the time, this is right around when Stockton had the game winner against the Rockets, and Rockets hated the Jazz. So, of course, when I just adopted this team, people are like, you're a Jazz fan? Where did that come from? We hate the Jazz. I'm like, oh, shoot, I didn't realize that. And so early on, my first two memories, I kind of watched in 97. They lose to the Bulls in the finals. Vaguely remember that, but I remember being mad because I wanted my Jazz to win. And so the next year, 98, I'm actually watching all their games in the playoffs, all of them. And so the who can forget the Jordan 98 game winner, hitting the Byron Russell. I don't think he pushed off. We've watched this a million times, like there's a Zapruder film. His momentum was carrying him that way, but that was the shot I saw, right? And I'm for whatever reason at the time, a Jazz fan. So I'm devastated. I'm like, no. And then Stockton goes down, misses the three. I remember that moment vividly. That whole breakdown, that whole series of events. And when I go back and watch it now, I can see that, Jordan steals the ball from Malone, who was my favorite player at the time. Again, in retrospect, I'm like, God, I hate that I liked Malone. Dirty player, never got a title, like just a lot of baggage with Karl Malone, but steals the ball, goes down, cuts it to a point, goes down, hits the game winner. And so that moment right there locked me in, that the emotional hold that sports teams, for better or worse, because I've been on the football side, devastated. I'm like, I'm an adult now. I shouldn't be getting this upset about an outcome of strangers with laundry playing a child's game. But it also made me really appreciate mastery and excellence.